Thanks for listening to me today. This is about contract negotiations and their common sense observations. This is your host, Dr. Paul Price, School Board Director, Region C. This dispute is not about a lot of things. It's not about the quality of our professional staff. We all agree that professional staff are very talented. It's not about the dedication of our teachers. We agree also that the teachers have a lot of personal pride and a lot of dedication to their jobs. It's not about the board's appreciation of their work. We do appreciate how hard they work and the job they're doing. And it's certainly not about student achievement, because our students are among the highest achievers in the state of Pennsylvania. So what is this about anyway? It's about our ability to pay on a long-term sustainable basis. In the current budget, personnel is the single biggest expense item that we have. It's about 71.93% of all spending. Here's basic budget math that is irrefutable. We're assuming a current budget of around $70 million, which is pretty much where we are right now. And it assumes that our personnel costs are right where they are today. If we look at 2% annual revenue growth, which may or may not happen, in fact, last year it didn't happen at all, but if we average 2% per year long term, but we pay 3% average growth in personnel costs, which is all salaries and benefits, including salary, benefits, healthcare, PEASers, the whole package, over time, as you can see here, the percentage of the total is going to go from 71.93 to over 86.58%, just over 20 years. And you know what? We expect to have this district operating for a lot more than the next 20 years. And this is just assuming that the personnel costs go up 1% more per year than the average revenue growth. If that happens, over time, eventually the entire budget, theoretically, would be devoted 100% to salary and benefits. Obviously, that's not something that we could live with. When personnel costs get top-heavy as a percentage of the total budget, there are two things that happen. Our basic mission of a free, appropriate public education becomes unachievable as you start to get to too high a percentage of money going to salary and benefits compared to the educational process itself, and bankruptcy would become inevitable. I'm not just talking theoretical here. Let's look at some other organizations that have already achieved that. Number one, in the news this week, the United States Postal Service has said their compensation costs are now 80% of all revenues, and they are going bankrupt. If they don't change something, they cannot operate again. They're not just talking about cutting Saturday delivery, they're talking bankruptcy. It's not just the Postal Service. Central Falls, Rhode Island, files for bankruptcy recently. This was dated August 1st this year, after unions failed to agree to pension cuts. They wouldn't take voluntary pension cuts, and the town of Central Falls, Rhode Island is now in bankruptcy because of $80 million in unfunded pension and benefit obligations. This is not theoretical. This has happened this month here in America, and it's just the start of things to come. You cannot have salaries and benefits and retirements take too big a percentage of all revenues, or else this is absolute inevitability. So, you should be counting your blessings. Unionville-Chadds Ford School District employees earn generous wages by any yardstick. People here are not doing badly. You have extraordinary benefits compared to the private sector and even compared to most other school districts in our area. You have job security that's way, way better than any private sector job in America right now. And you have pensions, defined benefit pensions, that are unavailable anywhere else at all, except in other government positions, and those are probably unsustainable also. So, just like in your own family's personal budget, spending cannot exceed income for a very long time, or else you will be bankrupt. You can't ignore your basic task. For your family, that's food, shelter, health care. For us, it's a free, appropriate public education for our students. And it requires infinitely sustainable terms, both for your family and for our school district. please keep this in mind when you make your demands and you think about contracts, because no matter what you think you should be earning, if it isn't infinitely sustainable, the board cannot pay it. It's that simple. We can't pay more than we have the ability to pay. Thanks for listening. This has been your host, Dr. Paul Price, School Board Director, Region C.